Hey everyone, my name is Allison Shoup, and here is my last assignment here, number 5 for our class, AEP 867. So I currently teach kindergarten, so my unit of study was working on beginning basic writing skills with a intervention group that we rotate within our kindergarten team. So the first question that we wanted to discuss was, how do the tasks yield appropriate evidence for understanding? So we had a lot of evidence-based learning with this unit here that we're working on. A lot of informal observations when checking in with my students at the end of LELO. And our LELO stands for Literacy Extension Learning Opportunity. And that's where all the kids rotate to my room. We only work for 30 minutes 4 times a week. So the grouping that I have is kind of a middle group of writing skills when we did our pre-assessment. We also do a CFA mid-data cycle, which is an 8-week data cycle, so about 4 weeks into it. We do a CFA, which stands for Common Formative Assessment, where we reassess the kids after 4 weeks of working with them on this particular essential standard. And then we also have a post-test at the end of the data cycle. Another question that we needed to answer was, how do the tasks evolve a complex real-world application? So that's a tricky one for kindergartners because they're sometimes not really connecting anything they're learning in class to how it will help them 10, 20 years down the road in the real world. But when I speak to them and I talk to them about writing is everywhere, and then I want to talk to them about how when mommies and daddies are writing, that they still need to do it as grown-ups, and not even their teacher, Miss Shoup, is doing writing for her schooling that she is taking in her master's, and kind of connecting all of that together for them, and how all of this will help them in first grade. A variety of assessments. Again, I kind of talked about it a little bit, but in this unit I have designed it to use a pretest, a CFA, and a post-test to give each student during the 8-week data cycle. All of these assessments will show us if the students are learning the skills to be good writers. And then we also use this data to rearrange our LELO groups. So if a student has excelled and done really, really well and is able to move up to a higher writing group, we adjust it at that time. So 2 different times we do that. Or if a student is really struggling, we're able to modify where that student is working and maybe move them down a level and kind of adjust our focus with how we're teaching the writing skills. How our students are given the opportunity to self-assess and reflect upon their learning and performance. So honestly, this is an area that I really struggle with. I didn't even think about the student self-assessing themselves, reflecting upon themselves. I always view it as the teacher's reflection when it comes to the lessons and how things went. Writing here, allowing my students to self-assess and reflect, is not something I do with my students. This is something I need to give my students time to do. Kindergartners need a lot of structure and time to think. I always feel pressured to get done on time, especially when we have to rotate back, and that's definitely one of my biggest reflections and modifications and adjustments I need to make for this unit, is the lack of time that we have by the time the students settle down and get ready for learning. From the 30 minutes and from cleaning up, it really is only about 20 minutes of core instruction 4 times a week as opposed to 30 minutes of full time. So definitely something I want to work on and adjust as we move on with the unit. Things that I want to work on is allow for more waiting time, allow for more reflection time, and allow for those self-assessments. I think that we rush all the time and don't give the time for the students to really think whether or not they enjoyed it. I think kind of with 5 and 6-year-olds, that's hard to say. And the last one there is to allow for time for them to pick their own activities. And I think maybe as we go further on with this unit, then we will be able to allow them to kind of pick and choose what they want to work on. So thank you so much.